Guys, how's it going? It's Al. Wild card weekend. We're going to go over the 3-game slate for the Sunday games here on DraftKings. We're going to build the tournament lineup. I'm going to go game by game. We're going to take a look at all 6 teams, and then I'm going to give you guys a lineup. We're going to go take a look over at Fantasy Labs on how I'm going to build for this short slate. So why don't we just get right to it? Thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, leave me your reply down below with how you're looking to build this week, and let's go.
He's a legend.
Take a look at the sports book and see where these games are. We have 1 outdoor game. We have 2 dome games. Naturally, the outdoor game is in Buffalo, windy, cold, 20 degrees, might snow. So the Bills favored by 10. Steelers not expected to score very many points. 36.5 is the total here. Packers go to Dallas. 50 is the total there. Dallas favored by a touchdown and a hook. Rams travel to Detroit. All the public money being bet on the Rams. Did you guys know that Matthew Stafford used to play for the Lions, like for a lot of years? And Jared Goff used to play for the Rams for a lot of years, and then they were traded for each other. And now they're going to play against each other in the playoffs. Very exciting storyline. Very, very exciting storyline. Also, the Steelers coach and the Bills coach, they used to be teammates, and the Cowboys coach McCarthy used to coach the Packers. Wow. Lots of storylines. Anyway, if you want to discuss this slate or any other slate or any other sport with our large community of daily fantasy players, head over to our Discord at smizzle.tv/Discord. You can become a server subscriber over there for $5 a month. You get access right now with NFL regular season over to our PGA cheat sheet, all the VIP channels where our members are playing NFL, NBA, throughout the playoffs for NFL, when MLB starts, PGA all the time, UFC, sports betting, and everything else. Surround yourself with a community of like-minded individuals trying to get better at daily fantasy every single day. So we'll see you over in the Discord. Let's take a look at this slate. We'll start with the outdoor game where there's expected to be snow. See, I guess this is like the wintry mix right here. Let's start with the quarterbacks. Obviously, Josh Allen, the unicorn. Only won 2 millionaire makers this year. Had kind of an off game. Yes, turnovers are an issue with him. If he would just stop turning the ball over, they would score a lot more points. But as I've said numerous times on Twitter, they win games because of Josh Allen, not in spite of Josh Allen. And he did have 29 fantasy points last week, kind of willed them to a victory. Played 30 of 38 passes, the 2 interceptions. Even though they're completions, they don't count. They count as income, but they are completed to the other team. Averaging 25 fantasy points per game, but like he costs so much. He's 8K. It's a short slate. Of course, he could break it. Pittsburgh, also a tough defense. Low totals in this game. Are you really going to play Mason Rudolph outdoors in the snow with a team total of like 12? No. I could probably make I'm fine if you need salary, and you do need a little bit of salary relief on this slate. I could make an exception for playing somebody like Jaylen Warren. I could make an exception for playing Najee Harris, right? We're in the playoffs, so matchups are kind of out the window. Wild card weekend's the last time you're going to see any sort of somewhat positive matchups, any sort of green numbers in this column here, like in the OPRK, the offensive player rank column. Like most of them are going to be black, most are going to be red. So like anytime we're going to get these middling matchups, like James Cook is 6,600. I think we can find better spots to get to on this particular slate. Najee Harris recently at Seattle, at Baltimore, getting monstrous usage. 31 opportunities last week against Baltimore, week 18 against Baltimore, and then week 17 against Seattle. Monstrous usage, 27 opportunities. I think we're going to see more of the same against Buffalo, as they are going to try to keep Josh Allen off the field as much as possible. You're going to see a ton of Najee Harris. You're going to see a ton of Jaylen Warren as they try to just milk clock and stay on the field as much as possible with that offense to exploit Buffalo's defense against the run, and also to hide Mason Rudolph as much as possible, stay out of 3rd and longs as much as possible, and with the weather being what it is, that's the way that they have to win. It's the only way that they're going to win this game, because they're not going to do it by having Mason Rudolph drop back and throw the ball to Pickens, have him drop back and throw the ball constantly to Deontay Johnson. That's just not how they're going to win this game. Now, Steph Diggs, 15 targets the last 2 games, 8-7-8 the last 3 games, 15.7 points. Finally had a double-digit game, his first since week 12. Again, the game environment does not lend itself to wanting to pay up for him in this game. This is the least desirable game on the slate. I don't think you're going to get after it. If you wanted to go for somebody like Shakir at 3,400, I could probably see that with his new inclusion in the Bills offense at his price. Everything is price specific here for the slate. I'm not seeing anybody in this game who is going to break the slate. That includes the tight ends, even with the high volume for somebody like Dalton Kincaid with 15 targets through the last 2 games. Freiermuth at 3,600 definitely ain't going to do it. Nobody in the Pittsburgh passing game, in my opinion, is going to break the slate. 2,600 for the Steelers defense is fair, especially with the propensity for Josh Allen to take sacks and turn the ball over. I'm fine with that. Bills defense at 3,500 if you wanted to say that they're just going to slaughter Mason Rudolph. Fine. If they get far enough ahead that they're going to have to throw the ball, situations where they can't run the football, or if the Bills get up 14 in the first quarter and they can't run it, sure, get after it. That's all I'm going to talk about that game. Green Bay, Dallas. This is a much more exciting game to talk about. Dak Prescott has been outstanding. Dak Prescott has been outstanding all season long. So many games with multiple touchdowns. 36 on the season. Ended the year with 4 touchdowns, 279 yards. Since week 6, CeeDee Lamb has been a juggernaut. 2 touchdowns, but can you afford them? Now, it's short slate football, which tends to lend itself to stars and scrubs builds, because if somebody can break the slate, then you're going to have him. And we've seen CeeDee Lamb do that numerous times. 35 points, 44 points, 28 points, 35 points, 42 points. I think there are other routes that you can go. If you want to get to CeeDee Lamb, building through Dak Prescott builds, certainly a way that you can get there. It remains that if you wanted to go through Jordan Love, who had a tremendous second half of the season after a horrible first half, a very inefficient first half with tons of turnovers, and against defenses that were not great. New Orleans defense, Detroit's defense was not great. Las Vegas's defense, not great. Denver's defense turned around after not looking great early in the year. And Minnesota's defense turned around after not looking great early in the year. So like, he just had a fantastic run in as his wide receiver group started to really mature. All those young wide receivers, they did such a good job in the draft. I know that this digresses from the daily fantasy standpoint, but like last year they had Watson, they had Dobbs, fine. This year they drafted Jaden Reed, the Dairy Belt Deebo. Looks absolutely fantastic. Matt Harmon just did comps on him from his rookie season. It's guys like Deebo, DJ Moore, Percy Harvin, just an elite group of wide receivers from his rookie year numbers. Dontavian Wicks has stepped in, 2 touchdowns last week, a touchdown the week before, 7 targets against Tampa Bay. He looks like a hit. They drafted 2 other offensive players. Tucker Kraft has looked great in relief of Luke Musgrave, who has also looked exceptionally good as a pass catcher. So those 4 pass catchers alone from this draft, and Watson and Dobbs from the previous drafts, not to mention Bo Melton, who was on the practice squad, who has stepped in and contributed extremely well. An embarrassment of riches for Jordan Love, and he has done a ton with them. Having pass catchers like that means so much to a quarterback. So if you wanted to get after it with either side, a Jordan Love correlated lineup, if you wanted to get after it with a Dak Prescott correlated lineup, I don't hate either one. And loading up on this game, even going through the running back with Aaron Jones, assuming that Dylan doesn't come back, look at the usage for Aaron Jones the last couple of games with Dylan dinged up. 27 opportunities, 21 opportunities, 24 opportunities with Dylan kind of dinged on the shelf. Like he has not really contributed a ton. 7 carries in week 17, 7 carries in week 16. This is when he was more full usage before that. Monitor his health as the week goes along. Pollard, on the other hand, has not really had a monster game this whole season. We'll see what he can do in the playoffs. If you wanted to utilize Rico Dowdle as a salary relief point at 4,600 and pray on short slate for a game like he had against Washington, where maybe he sneaks into the end zone and gets you 12 to 15 points, right? And just, he's the salary relief guy that you need. Go for it. He's had 4 touchdowns on the year. I think it's a little bit thin on a short slate like this. There's plenty of other places that you can go in the passing game. Los Angeles, Detroit does look like a game that you want to get after. 6,500 for Matthew Stafford against a very gettable defense in the Lions. Jared Goff, the passing game against the Rams, also a very gettable situation. And in a dome, Detroit has been extremely good. Now, the problem is we don't know about Sam Laporta. Detroit was out there trying to bite kneecaps last week. They played all their starters. That's something that's very important to Dan Campbell. That's what they were doing. They say Laporta has an outside shot to play this week. He means an awful lot to this passing game. If he does not play, the player that played in his stead was not Brock Wright. The player that played all the snaps at tight end was James Mitchell. And as you can see, he had 1 target. So I don't know if he's going to have a big game in his absence. If Laporta does not go, set up your if-then statements. Monitor Laporta's status as the week goes along. Josh Reynolds got force-fed targets. Jared Goff came out in an article, said that they knew about the incentives that he was after. They were trying to get him to his number to make him a little bit of extra money late in that game. So, like, I don't know if this 7 targets that he got is going to be sticky. We know that he is good for about 3-4 targets every single week. It's also the possible absence of Jamison Williams, who's been hurt since week 17. He left that game early, didn't play in week 18. So we have absences from this passing game, very possibly, and Khalif Raymond left the last game early as well. So we're going to have some spaces possibly in this Detroit passing game this weekend that I don't know about at the time of recording. It's Tuesday morning that I'm recording this. So Jahmyr Gibbs, to me, looks like he might get more usage in the passing game than he would if everyone was healthy. He's splitting time since David Montgomery got back with David Montgomery. It's a feel situation with them just playing whoever they want to. There's no consistency to which running back is going to get the inside the 5 or goal to go carries. Sometimes it's David Montgomery, 3 touchdowns in the last 3 games. Sometimes it's Jahmyr Gibbs. As you can see, he's scored rushing touchdowns since Montgomery's been back, with 5 of them over the last 5 games, as well as adding 1 in the passing game as well. He's the more dynamic. Gibbs is the more dynamic running back with more ability in the passing game, more explosiveness. But David Montgomery on his career has always done very well with elusiveness and tackle breaking and yards after first contact as well. So 2 very talented running backs. And on the Los Angeles Rams side, Puka Nacua breaking every single rookie pass game record, has not had a single game this year outside of week 18, I suppose, because he was pulled early, where he had under a 20% target market share. Just a ridiculous rookie year for the 5th rounder. Cooper Kupp has also had some big games as well. He's going to be heavily targeted. We also have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who has been a revelation, his best season as a pro. 30 points last week. Easily converted targets into catches, and also has big playability with a 70-yard touchdowns in his last 4. So those are all 4 of the games. Building a really quick lineup for you. Let's just do it really fast, right? So, like, I'm going to pay down a little bit at quarterback. I don't think I have to pay up there. I'm going to go with Jared Goff against the Rams at home. We're going to go with Gibbs as well. I'm going to save a little money coming down to Najee Harris and hope that he gets those 20 to 30 opportunities for us, because the volume is going to be key there. Hopefully they can keep the game close. Hopefully he gets a short yardage touchdown, gets us 14 to 17 points, which would be more than enough at 5,400 on a short slate. At wide receiver, I'm not going to play CeeDee Lamb in this lineup. I'm going to build a little bit differently and get myself a lot more PMR. Going to correlate Amon-Ra St. Brown. Going to kit him into the lineup with Puka Nacua. I am going to have, actually, let me do this. Let me do it through this way. I'm going to go with Jaden Reed, and I'm going to have exposure to the Dallas game through Brandon Cooks. Let me get a tight end. Not going to go with Laporta because he's hurt. Not going to have Ferguson. I have to pay down somewhere. So let me get Higbee. If he does not play, it opens up more salary as we can get down all the way to Allen on the Rams. but we can't get there if Higbee does play. If Higbee's out, it opens up a lot of salary for us, which would change our look at this lineup. At the flex spot, that is where we're going to put Amon-Ra St. Brown, and that's going to leave us 2,700 for a defense. Let me get the Steelers D. Hopefully we get a turnover or 3 from Josh Allen in the wind and rain or snow in Buffalo. Let's head over to Fantasy Labs, and if you do not have an account over at Fantasy Labs, go to smizzle.tv/labs with an uppercase L. Here are the short slate rules that I build. You can pause the video and take a screenshot of this if you want, of each one of these. That's where I start. You can build different rules right in there if you want to. The 6-month plan is the best value that they have over at Fantasy Labs. It's the all sport plan. It includes every one of these sports that's in play. And with NFL season ending, if you're playing daily fantasy NBA, here's a video that can help you be a better daily fantasy NBA player with tips and tricks to help you learn the game of daily fantasy NBA from a cash game and tournament perspective to hopefully help you stop losing money and win more frequently at daily fantasy basketball. Lots of luck this weekend. Bye.